always thought calm people were boring. That morning I was grateful to be calm. I buttoned my shirt and said, "Today is it." Emily sat on the edge of the bed, phone in her hand, eyes distant. "You're quiet," I said. She nodded without looking up. "Just tired," she said. I smiled. "After tonight, we'll finally rest." We moved through the apartment like guests. I poured coffee. "Do you remember our first date?" I asked. She hesitated. "Of course." Her voice was thin. "You wore that awful jacket." I laughed. "You said it made me look safe." She winced. "I didn't mean it like that." I shrugged. "I liked safe." She checked her phone again. I asked, "Is someone bothering you?" She sighed. "No. Please don't start." I raised my hands. "I'm not starting anything." She snapped, "You always do this." I went quiet. "Do what?" She looked at me, then eyes sharp. "Act like everything is fine." I tried to keep my voice steady. "Is everything not fine?" She turned away. "I need air." We stepped onto the balcony. Traffic hummed below. I said, "Emily, talk to me." She folded her arms. "I don't know how." I said, "Try." She laughed, short and brittle. "You make it sound easy." I searched her face. "Are you scared?" She whispered, "Yes." I nodded. "Me too." She shook her head. "Not like you." I asked, "Like what?" She pressed her lips together. "I've been thinking." I said, "About the vows?" She said, "About everything." My chest tightened. "Did I do something?" She answered too fast. "No, I waited." She added, "This isn't about you." I said, "Then tell me what it is about." She closed her eyes. Ryan came back. The name landed wrong. "Ryan?" I asked. She nodded. "From home." I said, "Your friend?" She corrected me. "My first love." I felt the room tilt. "When?" I asked. She said, "Last week." I swallowed. "And you didn't tell me?" She said, "I didn't know how." I tried to smile. "People come and go." She shook her head again. "Not him." I said, "What does that mean?" She looked at me with pity. "It means I remembered who I was." I leaned on the railing. "We're getting married today." She said, "I know." I asked, "So why are we talking about this now?" She met my eyes. "Because I can't do it." I said, "Do what?" She said, "Marry you." The words were clean, sharp. I breathed slowly. "Are you calling it off?" She nodded. "I'm sorry." I said, "Is he asking you to choose?" She said, "He didn't have to." I asked, "Did you see him?" She said, "Yes." I asked, "Did you kiss him?" She flinched. "That's not fair." I said, "Neither is this." She wiped her eyes. "I never stopped loving him." My phone buzzed. I ignored it. It buzzed again. "It's the planner," I said. She said, "Don't answer." I answered anyway. "We're running late," the planner chirped. I said, "There won't be a ceremony." Silence. "Is this a joke?" she asked. "No," I said. I ended the call. My phone buzzed again. "It's my mother," I said. Emily whispered, "I'm sorry." I said, "So am I." I asked, "Where will you go?" She said, "Ryan's place." I nodded. "Of course." She said, "Don't say it like that." I said, "Like what?" She said, "Like I'm cruel." I answered, "I'm trying not to be." She sat again. "We rushed this." I said, "We planned it for a year." She said, "I plan to forget." I asked, "Forget me?" She said, "Forget him." I exhaled. "And now?" She said, "Now I can't." I said, "Then don't stay." Silence grew loud. I said, "And me?" She said, "I love you, just not the same." I forced a calm tone. "What did I do wrong?" She said, "Nothing. You were perfect." I laughed once. "Perfect isn't enough?" She whispered, "It never was." I watched her hands tremble, memorizing every excuse, every pause, every breath, telling myself to stay upright, to be kind, to survive the minute without begging or breaking. I straightened. "So that's it." She reached for my hand. "Please don't hate me." I stepped back. "I don't hate you." She packed a small bag and paused at the door. "You'll understand someday," she said. I listened to the lock click, felt my calm shatter, and realized my life had just broken forever today. In silence, I stood alone. I walked into the living room, and the air felt heavy, as if it knew I wasn't supposed to be calm. Relatives hovered, curious eyes, forced smiles. Are you okay? Aunt Carol asked. I nodded. Fine. She blinked, waiting for more, but I said nothing. Silence stretched. Emily's father cleared his throat. You understand, don't you? I shrugged. I think so. His hand hovered over mine, wanting reassurance. I didn't give it. Emily appeared, elegant and distant. I'm sorry, she said. I never meant to hurt you. I said, then why did you? She hesitated. I love Ryan. I've always. She stopped herself. It's complicated. I said nothing. Complicated. It was a word for betrayal wrapped in soft excuses. Lena leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, smirk on her face. I didn't think you'd be this calm, she said. Her tone carried amusement, disbelief, a tiny sting. Everyone expected tears. I met her eyes. I'm not everyone. She laughed lightly. You'll break eventually. Emily shook her head. Lena, please. Lena shrugged. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. I noticed her eyes flick to my hands. They were steady. I counted my breaths. Every inhale, every exhale held me together. Emily's mother sat nearby. Sweetheart, he doesn't even look upset, she said softly. It's unsettling. I answered, I'm upset inside. No one heard it. Inside the world had cracked. Outside I smiled faintly. Emily touched my arm. I wish it were different. I said, we both do. She added, fate has its own plans. I asked, plans for pain? She didn't answer. I waited. Silence felt heavier than words. Lena tilted her head. You're thinking too much. Just let it show. I said, show what? She laughed again, low, teasing. The pain you're hiding. People love drama. I kept my voice even. I don't perform for them. Emily sighed. I can explain. I nodded. I want to understand. She folded her hands. History matters. Unfinished feelings matter. You can't force love. I said, no, you can't. But breaking hearts is easy. Her father frowned. Be reasonable, Emily. He's calm. Take a moment. I said nothing. I was reasonable. Reasonable enough to hold my tongue, to refuse anger, to refuse theatrics. I felt every nerve screaming, but outwardly I was a statue. Emily's mother whispered, he's too dignified for tears. I nodded once. I prefer dignity. Lena snorted. Or you're secretly terrified. I leaned back, calm like ice. Fear can be quiet. Emily's voice trembled, though she tried to hide it. I never stopped caring. I couldn't choose differently. I said, and you chose him. She nodded. I have to. I swallowed. And everyone around us agrees? She looked at her parents. They nodded. We support her decision. I said nothing. Inside I wanted to scream. Outside my lips stayed calm. Lena crossed the room and stood behind Emily. You should see it. He's perfect on the outside, cracking on the inside. I turned to her. You like watching people break? She smiled faintly. I like seeing honesty. Pretenses are boring. I said, then you've seen enough. Emily glanced at me. I wanted to tell you in person. It's the least I could do. I said, and yet it hurts the most. She bit her lip. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not making this easy for either of us. I said, no, you're not. Silence followed, a shared weight. Then she looked at me carefully, almost daring me. There's one thing I want to ask. I raised an eyebrow. What? She hesitated. I want you, at my wedding. I blinked. Me? She nodded. As a test. Of maturity. Of understanding. I said, a test? She swallowed. To show you can be calm, dignified, above it all. I said nothing. I could feel Lena snickering quietly. Emily's parents murmured encouragement. It's brave, her mother said. You'll see him, you'll understand. I smiled faintly. I understand now. Inside, pieces of me were breaking, splintering with each word, each glance, each reminder. Outside I bowed my head. I'll be there, I said. The room exhaled around me, relief mixing with subtle judgment. Lena whispered, you're a puzzle. I said, and puzzles take time to solve. Emily's eyes softened briefly. Maybe that's why I still care, she said. I nodded, silent. Every smile, every calm gesture, was a silent scream. As I left the house that evening, I realized calmness could be mistaken for weakness. That silence could be misread as emptiness. But inside, my heart was splitting, and every step forward felt like walking on broken glass. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't collapse. I simply walked, dignified, invisible pain shadowing every breath, understanding that love could be quiet, but heartbreak could be deafening. I sat in my apartment, lights dim, phone untouched, letting the silence stretch around me. The world outside buzzed on, oblivious. I could have called Emily, begged, shouted, collapsed, but I didn't. I couldn't. Not tonight. Not ever. My phone buzzed anyway. Daniel. I answered. Hey, I said, my voice low. Where are you? His calm tone carried no judgment. Home. Thinking. I didn't want to explain. You okay? He asked. I laughed softly. I think I've crossed okay. No lectures. No questions, he said. You want out, I get it. I do, I admitted. I can't stay. Everything reminds me of her. Every corner, every sound, every thought. Then leave. I want to disappear. My voice barely a whisper. Erase myself from the life I built around her. Daniel was silent for a moment. Packing? Yes, I said. Tonight. I've booked a flight. Just a ticket, no return. You sure? Yes. I clenched my jaw. I can't survive here, not like this. Good. You deserve to breathe. I exhaled slowly. I won't call her. I won't look back. I won't let this define me. Then don't, Daniel said. I'll handle the logistics if you need. I admitted. I'm glad you're here. I don't want pity. I don't want questions. None. I'm just a car to the airport, a place to drop bags, a friend. Nothing else, he said. I paused. I don't know if I can handle seeing anyone tonight. Or anything familiar. Then don't. Keep your head down. Walk out like you own it. No goodbyes needed. Goodbyes? I muttered. Goodbyes are lies people tell themselves. I need to vanish. Vanishing it is, he said. Keys are on the counter. I'll be outside in 15. I packed quietly, moving like a shadow. No pictures, no souvenirs, nothing to anchor me to what was broken. My heart thudded, heavy but silent. Everything I built, everything I dreamed, just memories now, I whispered to myself. Daniel appeared in the doorway, calm and steady. Ready? I nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. He offered no questions, no sympathy. Just a nod. That was all I needed. The cab smelled of city streets and cold air. I stared out the window, watching the lights fade, streets emptying, life continuing. I thought about Emily. About Lena. About every person who expected me to crumble. I didn't crumble. I couldn't. I'm leaving everything behind, I said softly, almost to myself. Good. You'll thank yourself later, Daniel said. I wondered if I would. Maybe I'd hate myself for running, for silence, for leaving the wreckage behind. But maybe this was the only way to survive without becoming bitterness itself. The airport was nearly empty. Neon signs buzzed overhead and I walked quickly, each step freeing me. Daniel carried my bag, offering no more words. I watched the plane land, imagining the distance it would give me, imagining the space to breathe, to think, to exist without the shadow of Emily stretching across every thought. I took out my phone. Her name stared back at me, tempting me with what? I deleted it. Every number, every message, every trace of her gone. My fingers lingered on the screen for a heartbeat. This ends here, I whispered. Daniel glanced at me. You sure? Yes. My voice was steady now, a quiet determination I hadn't felt in weeks. I can't live in her world. I won't. Not like this. The boarding call echoed. I handed my ticket to the attendant and walked down the jetway, suitcase in hand. I felt a weight lift, quietly, almost imperceptibly, but I knew it was permanent. Not a victory, not a celebration, just survival. Daniel's voice came one last time. Call me when you land. Not for her. For you. I will, I said. And I meant it. As the engines roared to life, I pressed my forehead against the window. City lights dwindled, shadows stretched across the horizon, and I closed my eyes. My heart still ached, but it wasn't for her anymore. It was for me. For the life I was reclaiming, one step at a time. The plane lifted, carrying me away from the past, away from expectations, away from heartbreak that had tried to define me. I was gone. Silent, dignified, and finally free. This ends here, I whispered again, letting the words dissolve into the hum of engines, into the darkness, into the night that would be mine alone. I met Claire on a rainy Thursday, cafe corner by the window, steam curling off my coffee. She was reading, calm, oblivious to the world rushing past outside. I sat opposite her, pretending to check my phone, but I was watching her. You come here often? I asked, finally breaking the silence. She looked up slowly, eyes steady. Not really. Just when I need quiet. I need quiet too, I admitted. Loud places, they get heavy sometimes. She smiled faintly. Heavy is good sometimes. Tells you you're alive. I nodded. I felt more dead than alive lately. Her smile didn't falter. That's okay. People recover at their own pace. Recovery sounds simple when you say it, I muttered. Simple doesn't mean easy, she said. It just means possible. I stirred my coffee, fingers tracing the rim. I'm not looking for miracles, I said. I just want normal. Normal is underrated, she said. People chase excitement, forget peace. I laughed softly. I forgot peace existed. She tilted her head. You can find it again. Quietly, not dramatically. I watched her, realizing she didn't ask questions about me. No probing, no pity, no assumptions. That was new. That was different. You don't ask much, I said. I listen, she said simply. Listening's enough. Sometimes people need that more than answers. I blinked. Most people can't handle silence around me. They panic. Silence isn't a problem, she said. It's how you notice the small things. We talked for hours, though it never felt forced. Small things, coffee temperatures, street sounds, rain patterns, became markers of time instead of reminders of absence. You don't ask my name yet, I said after a while. Claire, she said. And you are? Michael, I said. I'm just Michael here. Good. Just Michael works, she said. You don't need titles, stories, explanations. I realized I didn't want to tell her. Not yet. Not ever if I didn't choose to. There was no push from her, no curiosity masquerading as concern. That alone felt like trust. I've had a rough patch, I said vaguely. But it's okay. I can tell, she said. You carry it quietly like a book on a high shelf. Not forgotten, just out of reach. I laughed softly. That's a good description. Heavy but neat. Everything has a place, she said. Even the weight you carry. We left the cafe together as the rain stopped, walking slowly down cobbled streets. I realized I wasn't pretending to be fine. I was noticing. Noticing the way her scarf caught the breeze, the sound of my own footsteps, the quiet hum of the city. I hadn't done that in months. You breathe differently, she said suddenly. Calmer. I've been practicing, I admitted. Silent practice. Alone practice. Good, she said. You're learning to be here. I nodded. Being here doesn't feel like drama. It feels quiet. Quiet's underrated, she said. Much underrated. We stopped outside a bookstore, window displays glowing. She looked at me, gentle, patient. You don't have to tell me everything, she said. I know, I said. And I appreciate that. Some things need to remain your own, she said. Some things are yours to carry until you choose otherwise. I looked at her, realizing that in her calmness, there was no judgment. No expectation. Just a presence that mirrored mine instead of filling the gaps. Do you want to stop running? She asked finally, quietly, eyes searching but not demanding. I paused. The words felt heavy, not because of her but because of me. I hadn't asked myself that in months. Maybe I do, I said softly. But not because anyone's asking. Because I think I can. She smiled faintly. That's enough. That's always enough. I felt something shift, not dramatically, not violently, not like heartbreak or betrayal, but quietly, almost imperceptibly. A crack where light entered. Not healing completely, but a start. Coffee again tomorrow? She asked. I'd like that, I said. Quiet again. Just us. Just us, she agreed. As we walked away from the bookstore, I realized healing didn't shout. It whispered. And for the first time in months, I felt the whisper. No past demanded explanation. No pain demanded display. Just presence, just quiet. And maybe, just maybe, enough to stop running. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, crisp and heavy, like a judgment I didn't ask for. I stared at it for a long time, letting the letters form before my eyes. Emily and Ryan. The irony hit me first. Then the old pain, warm and jagged, crawling up my chest. I didn't open it immediately. I left it on the counter, staring at it while Claire brewed coffee. What's that? She asked. Nothing, I muttered. Nothing? She repeated, pouring cream into her cup. That's a very something nothing. I sighed. It's from someone from my past. Claire glanced at the envelope, curious but calm. Do you want to open it? I don't know, I admitted. I shouldn't care. I moved on. She shrugged. Then don't. Or do. It's your choice. Her neutrality was strange, comforting. No judgment. No jealousy. No whispered you shouldn't care. Just freedom. I tore the envelope. Inside was elegant stationery, cursive and prideful, announcing the date, the venue, the ceremony. Ryan's name was printed boldly, almost tauntingly, above hers. I can't believe this, I whispered. Claire didn't say anything. She just handed me a mug. Coffee helps. I drank slowly, thinking of Ryan. Emily had whispered about him often, long before I realized what pride looked like. He's special, she had said almost defensively back when I'd made her laugh and felt her warmth. No one else gets it. He's the only one who really knows me. I remembered her words, how they folded around me with subtle possessiveness. You can't choose me like everyone else, she had said once, prideful, a warning I had ignored. And Ryan? He had always existed in the background, waiting for a chance to claim her, the entitled confidence of a man who believed what he wanted was owed to him. I think you're thinking too much, Claire said softly. I am, I admitted. But it's him. Ryan. Always Ryan. She nodded. Then think. Decide. There's no wrong answer. Not here. I stared at the invitation again, imagining the ceremony, imagining Ryan's smug grin, imagining Emily's voice as if she had rehearsed it for years. You'll understand someday. I should ignore it, I muttered. Pretend it never came. You can, Claire said. Or you can go. No judgment either way. This is about you. I don't want drama, I said. I don't want revenge. I just want closure. Closure is fine, she said simply. Just don't make it a weapon. Don't give anyone power over your peace. I nodded slowly. Peace, that's the problem. This will test it. Claire smiled faintly. Then test it on your terms. Not theirs. I spent the next few days in quiet reflection. Every memory of Emily surged back. The warmth of her laugh, the coldness of her distance, the thrill of stolen kisses, the ache of rejection. And always Ryan lurking at the edges, prideful, possessive, like a shadow I couldn't escape. I recalled one night years ago, Emily clutching my hand. You'll never understand him, she had said. Ryan, he's part of me. You're just someone who came along. I had smiled, hurt beneath the surface, thinking I could wait. I had waited. And he had returned. Always him. Always her. Always the story I couldn't rewrite. Finally, I sat across from Claire and spoke. I'm going. You are. Yes. My voice was quiet, resolute. Not to humiliate, not to fight. Not to prove anything. Just closure. And to see it with my own eyes. To finally understand. She nodded. Then go. And don't let them decide your experience. It's yours. I clenched my jaw. I can do that. I think I can. You will, she said. You've been practicing calm. Now practice courage. I stared at the invitation one last time, imagining the white dress, the floral arrangements, the familiar streets transformed by celebration. Ryan's smug certainty. Emily's soft pride. I allowed the old ache to surface, then let it go, folding it neatly in my mind like a chapter closed but remembered. I'm scared, I admitted softly. Good, Claire said. It means you care about yourself enough to feel it. That's healthy. I smiled faintly. I never realized closure could feel like courage instead of pain. Courage, she said, is just choosing yourself even in the shadow of your past. I nodded. Then I'll go. For me. And I'll be here when you return, she said. I picked up the invitation again, cradling it like a fragile weight. For me, I whispered. Not for them. Not for anyone. Just me. And with that, I knew the decision was mine, and mine alone. No prideful expectations, no jealous whispers, just my steps forward, ready to face the past quietly, resolutely, finally. I stepped out of the car, Claire's hand in mine. My chest was steady, my steps deliberate. People turned as we walked toward the venue. Murmurs rose, low at first, then sharper like a tide. Emily froze at the entrance. Her eyes widened, then narrowed slightly. I didn't flinch. Michael? She whispered, voice trembling. I kept walking. Claire and I are here, I said softly. Her lips parted, then closed. She wanted more words, but I didn't give them. Ryan's gaze followed me, sharp, assessing. He noticed immediately, the calm, the absence of hesitation, the quiet command of space. He whispered something to Emily, pride laced in his tone. She looks surprised, he said. Emily's fingers twitched at her side. I didn't expect. I know, I said quietly. Neither did I really. Claire squeezed my hand. Ignore them, she murmured. I nodded. I said. My voice carried across the small distance. Some heads turned. Gasps barely contained. Whispers flowed like water. He's here. He's calm. Oh. Emily stepped forward, trying to catch me. Michael, can we talk? No, I said, calm but firm. Not now. Not here. Her eyes widened. Why not? It's just. Because there's nothing left to say, I interrupted gently. You made your choice. I made mine. Ryan stepped closer, trying to mask his unease with a smile. Michael, he said, voice sharp. I didn't expect. You didn't expect me to move on, I said. And I didn't expect you to understand. Claire laughed softly at my side. He's right, she said. Ryan's jaw tightened. You brought her here? Yes, I said. She's mine. And she will be. I looked at Claire. She smiled faintly, calm, untouchable. Emily's face drained of color. You have words, I said quietly. But I'm not listening. Not anymore. She looked from me to Claire, the reality sinking in. Her hands trembled slightly, poised midair. You married? She whispered. Not yet, Claire said, smiling faintly. Soon. Emily's lips pressed into a thin line. I shook my head. Save it. It won't change anything. You already made your choice. Whispers swirled around us. Lena's voice, sharp in memory, he won't break. Not now. And she hadn't been wrong. Emily's voice dropped. Michael, we can? We can nothing, I said. My calmness became a wall she could not penetrate. I don't want to relive anything. I don't want pity. I don't want excuses. I am here and I am fine. You cannot touch that anymore. Ryan's expression shifted subtly. His confidence faltered under the quiet gravity of my presence. He tried again. You're calm? I'm not calm for you, I said. I'm calm for me. You should try it sometime. Emily swallowed. You moved on. I did, I said. And I moved forward. She took a step back. But how? By living my life, I said. Not by waiting for yours to crumble. Not by hoping for a change. I chose myself. The silence that followed was thick, almost tangible. Emily's mouth opened, then closed. Ryan's jaw clenched. Claire squeezed my hand again, grounding me. Emily's voice cracked. I never thought. Never thought what? I asked softly. That I could survive? That I could thrive? Her eyes flickered with something undefinable. Regret? Loss? Something heavier. No, I said. It's too late for I. You had your chance. You lost it. The wedding coordinator called out names. Ryan straightened, trying to mask discomfort. Emily's hands trembled. She realized in that instant that she had already lost something she couldn't name, something she hadn't expected. My absence was gone, replaced by my presence. Not bitter, not angry, not broken. I smiled faintly at Claire. Shall we? She nodded. Let's. I took her hand, walking forward. Heads turned, whispers continued, but I didn't hear them. I didn't need to. My calm had shifted the tide. The power was no longer theirs. The weight of past expectations, of betrayal, of pride and possessiveness, it was all behind me. Emily stood frozen, lips parted, eyes wide. Ryan's grip on his smug certainty faltered. They realized it too late. I wasn't the abandoned man. I was whole, quiet, and untouchable. And in that moment I understood fully. The loss she felt wasn't tangible, not something to hold, not something she could reclaim. It was the realization that I had already stepped beyond her reach. I turned fully to Claire. Ready? Always, she said, smiling. I walked beside her, calm, dignified, unshaken. Behind us, the world adjusted too late to the truth. I was no longer defined by what I had lost. I was defined by what I chose to carry, and what I chose to leave behind. Emily's eyes followed me as we moved past, and I knew she saw it. A man she couldn't touch, a life she no longer controlled. I was adjusting my cufflinks when I felt her presence. Emily. Her perfume hit me before she spoke. Michael, she said, voice trembling. Why are you here? How are you, calm? I looked up slowly. I'm not here for you. Her eyes narrowed, a mix of hurt and confusion. Not for me? You moved on too fast. I moved on at my own pace, I said quietly. Not for anyone else to measure. Her hands clenched at her sides. You can't just erase everything. Just walk away and be fine. It doesn't happen like that. I didn't erase anything, I said. Ich chose myself. That's different. She took a step closer. You think this is about pride? Or revenge? I shook my head. Neither. Silence can hurt more than words. That's all you're feeling right now. Emily's lips quivered. You're supposed to beg. Cry. Collapse. That's what everyone expected. That's what I expected. You were supposed to suffer. And you expected the wrong thing, I said softly. I'm not the person who abandoned himself for someone else's approval. Her breath hitched. You don't get to speak to me about pain anymore, I said. Not when you made choices, not when you left. You had your chance. You took it. She turned sharply, anger flashing. You think this is easy? You think I'm not scared? You think I don't regret? Then own it, I said quietly, calm. Regret is yours. Nostalgia doesn't undo actions. And fear is yours, not mine. Her eyes filled, flashes of tears threatening. I thought I could have both. Comfort and loyalty. I thought I could. You thought wrong, I said softly, letting silence fill the gaps. My calm was deliberate. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't justify. Silence does what words cannot. Ryan appeared behind her, stepping forward like a shield. Emily, he said, voice sharp. What are you doing? She looked at him, voice breaking. I need to speak. Not now, he said. His jaw tightened. Don't mess this up. Don't control me, she shouted. Her voice cracked. Not now. Not ever. I said nothing. I simply watched. Ryan's mask faltered, the protective confidence slipping. A flicker of jealousy crossed his features. His hand clenched at his side. Michael, Emily whispered again. I shouldn't have let you go. You let me go, I said, voice soft even. I didn't leave. You left. I simply survived. She staggered slightly, as if the weight of my words hit her physically. Survived? How can you survive so perfectly? I didn't survive perfectly, I said. I survived deliberately. Every choice, every step, every breath was mine. Not yours, not his, not anyone's. Ryan's fists clenched at his sides. You think you're better than me? He hissed. I think I'm free, I said. And that terrifies you, doesn't it? Emily's lips trembled. I thought I made the right choice. But, seeing you like this, I don't know. I don't. You're realizing something, I said quietly. Something you can't claim with comfort or entitlement. You can't buy back loyalty or courage. You can't force someone to stay when their life belongs to themselves. Her knees weakened and she caught herself on the nearest railing. Ryan grabbed her arm. She yanked it away. Don't touch me. I let the tension hang, letting the silence, the calm, the quiet dignity do the work. I didn't need to insult, to lash out, to attack. Silence was sharper than swords. I thought I'd win, Emily whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. I thought I could have it all. You had it, I said softly. You chose differently. She sank into a chair nearby, hands trembling, face pale. Ryan hovered, unsure how to respond. She curled into herself, realizing fully that comfort had won over loyalty, ease had won over truth. Her quiet sobs echoed in the small prep room, alone, unshielded. I turned to Claire, who had been silent beside me the entire time. She squeezed my hand lightly. Shall we? I nodded. Let's go. We walked out together. Emily remained behind, staring at the floor, crying alone, the weight of what she had given up pressing down, a silent punishment she could not avoid. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The ceremony awaited, but the victory had already been claimed, not by drama, not by revenge, but by quiet, deliberate growth. And in that moment I understood fully. Revenge is a word, growth is action, and freedom is a life lived on your own terms. Emily had broken. I hadn't. The reception hall glittered with chandeliers, laughter, and the faint scent of roses, but my mind was quiet, grounded. Claire's hand rested lightly in mine, her presence steady, unmoving. Ryan's temper broke early. A spilled drink. A misplaced napkin. He barked at a waiter, then at his best man. How is this acceptable? He snapped. Voices hushed around him. Guests glanced at Emily, whose face flickered with embarrassment. Ryan, she whispered, her tone sharp, trying to calm him. Don't tell me what to do, he barked, red creeping up his neck. Guests exchanged looks. Murmurs rose. I didn't move. I didn't smile. I simply watched, quiet. Emily caught my gaze across the room. Her eyes widened. I met them evenly. She looked away quickly, biting her lip. Michael, she whispered, moving toward me carefully, voice low. I didn't expect you to be here like this. I am here, I said quietly. Not for you. Not for him. Not for approval. I am here because I chose to move forward. Her lips trembled. I thought you'd wait forever. I thought you'd always be waiting. I shook my head slowly. You loved what I offered, stability, calm, predictability. Not me. Not the man. You loved the safe version of me. Emily's eyes glistened. I thought I could have both, she admitted. The excitement, the comfort, the safety. I thought I could have everything. You thought wrong, I said softly. Comfort does not equal loyalty. Safety does not equal love. Ryan's voice cut in sharply. She chose me. What are you doing here? I am not here to challenge anyone, I said evenly, calmly. I am here to live my life quietly, deliberately. Guests looked between us, whispers weaving like a current. Ryan's jaw clenched visibly, his pride and control slipping under the quiet weight of my presence. Emily's parents shifted uncomfortably, glancing at her, doubt etching their faces. Michael, Emily's mother said softly, a hint of sympathy, a trace of judgment. You've grown strong. I have, I said simply. Not for revenge. Not to hurt anyone. I have grown for myself. That is all. Emily's voice broke, low, almost a sob. I didn't know I thought you'd. Wait. I prompted quietly. Yes, she admitted. I thought you'd wait forever. I thought my choice wouldn't matter. That you'd forgive me, that you'd stay broken quietly because that was what you were to me. I exhaled slowly. I'm not what you wanted. I'm not what you expected. I am whole even when you feel unsettled by it. She took a hesitant step closer. I wanted you to be mine. Not broken, not quiet. But I didn't know how to hold you. I loved the idea of you. And the man? I asked softly, gesturing toward Ryan, whose face was pale with fury and embarrassment. The idea, she admitted. Not the reality. Not the person. I confused comfort with love. I let silence stretch, letting her words settle like dust on old furniture. Claire squeezed my hand gently. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her calm presence became a symbol, peace I had built myself, now shared. Emily whispered again, voice cracking. Please, talk to me after the ceremony. Just for a moment. I need to understand. I shook my head gently. No, I said quietly, decisively. There is nothing left to understand that will change what you chose. Closure does not require conversation. Growth does not require permission. Her lips quivered. Michael, please? I won't hurt you, I said softly. But I won't speak either. This is final. She sank into a chair near the edge of the room, face pale, tears sliding down, realizing fully that she had chosen safety over loyalty, convenience over courage. Ryan hovered behind her, helpless, entitled confidence crumbling under the weight of quiet dignity. The ceremony proceeded. Guests cheered at every speech, every toast, every laugh. I moved through it calmly, hand in hand with Claire. I smiled when appropriate. I nodded. I listened. But I didn't look back. Emily sat stiffly, isolated, a spectator to a life she had tried to control, a man she could no longer claim. Ryan's glare followed us for most of the evening. Emily's hands trembled whenever she glanced at me. Her parents whispered quietly, doubt clouding their eyes, but no one confronted me. No one challenged the calmness I carried. I realized fully then, revenge is not action. Revenge is wasted energy. Growth is quiet, deliberate, and unstoppable. I didn't shout, I didn't humiliate. I didn't need to. My presence was the statement. My calm was the verdict. Later, Emily begged one final time. Please, just one word. Talk to me. Tell me anything. I shook my head, soft but firm. No words will fix what you broke. And nothing I say will change what I chose. This is enough. I turned to Claire, squeezing her hand. Shall we? She smiled faintly, quiet, unassuming. We shall. Emily's tears fell freely. Guests murmured quietly. Ryan's face burned with anger and embarrassment. Her parents watched silently, understanding dawning too late. The life she wanted to control had already slipped past her fingers and nothing, no plea, no pride, no entitlement, could reclaim it. I walked beside Claire. Peace walked with me, deliberate, steady, untouchable. Karma hadn't knocked. It had simply walked in. We walked out of the hall quietly. The music faded behind us, replaced by the night air, cool and steady. Claire's hand in mine felt like a tether to something real. Solid. Safe. You okay? She asked softly. I am, I said. More than okay. Calm, actually. She smiled faintly. Calm suits you. I nodded, letting her words settle. It doesn't mean I wasn't hurt. It doesn't mean I didn't feel betrayed. But I realized something tonight. What's that? That being calm, being deliberate, isn't weakness. It's strength. It's survival. She squeezed my hand. You survived beautifully. I exhaled slowly, thinking of Emily. She had watched me. Not angry. Not hateful. Just aware. A quiet acknowledgement of what she had lost. Something she couldn't reclaim. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't need it. She's not here, Claire said. She's processing. Exactly, I said softly. And that's enough. She'll understand eventually, or maybe not. That's not my burden. We passed the empty parking lot. The cars glinted under the streetlights. I glanced back once. Emily's figure lingered near the entrance, still, fragile, finally human in her regrets. Ryan hovered beside her, his pride chipped and unmasked. She couldn't call me back. She couldn't demand my words. That power had already slipped through her fingers. I didn't go there to humiliate her, I said almost to myself. I didn't go there to prove anything to him. I went to survive. To see myself intact on the other side. Claire's eyes met mine. And you did. I smiled faintly. I did. And now I get to keep living. For me. Not anyone else's expectations, not anyone else's mistakes, not anyone else's choices. She squeezed my hand again. Then let's go. We walked, step by step, away from the chaos of the hall, away from the whispers, the stares, the judgment. I felt lighter than I had in months. No bitterness, no hunger for revenge. Just clarity. I keep thinking about everything I gave, I said. The patience, the trust, the hope, all for someone who wanted comfort, not me. Then you'll remember it differently, Claire said. Not as a loss, but as proof you could give and survive. Proof that you're whole. I let her words sink in. Whole, I whispered. I think I finally understand what that means. It doesn't mean they'll see it. It doesn't mean the world notices. It means I notice. A car passed, headlights cutting across the pavement. I imagined every path I could have taken, some leading to heartbreak, some to despair. I had chosen this one. I had chosen me. She's learning too, Claire said softly. In her own way. Yes, I said. Too late, but she'll learn. I hope she learns. We reached the street where my car was parked. I unlocked the door, feeling the hum of the engine, the vibration beneath my fingers. Claire slid in beside me. Ready? She asked. I nodded. Always. As we drove away, I thought about the silence that followed my calm presence, about the stillness I carried while everyone else scrambled to react. Calm had never been weakness. It had been my shield. My proof. I didn't need to speak to Emily again. She would remember the quiet more than anything I could have shouted. She would feel the absence, the impossibility of reclaiming what she lost. That was enough. I exhaled again. The city lights blurred past, soft, unthreatening. Claire's hand remained in mine. I realized fully, surviving doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't require victory. It simply requires moving forward, intact, unbroken. And I had done that. I didn't win. I didn't need to. I moved on. I survived. And as I glanced at Claire beside me, I whispered quietly, almost to myself. I didn't show up to hurt her. I showed up to prove I survived.